And he goes jumping in. Amazing round. Great hat-trick from Taz.
Big flashes in and cast the ultimate. What he held left. Oh no, she will flash. Oh, the shield clutch.
Oh, a blink into all those units. The amazing defense. Champion of the Intel Extreme Masters.
Hello, what's up, you guys, and welcome to the Intel Extreme World Championship. I'm your host, Lin Hong, and we're live here in Hanover, Germany. We've got an amazing event lined up for you guys. 5 days full of StarCraft, League of Legends, and Counter-Strike, where the world's best gamers collide. Again, I'm your host, Lin Hong, and right next to me is the lovely Paul Chaloner, a.k.a. the Granddaddy Esports. Isn't that right?
If you say so. Thank you very much. Why are you sounding so hoarse already?
I'm having so much fun here at the World Finals. I'm already losing my voice.
Already. So a little bit of an explanation for you as to why we're all here. The Intel Extreme Masters is a truly global competition. It's taken in 4 continents this year in the season of 2011-2012, with visits around the world to Guangzhou, to Sao Paulo, to Kiev, and to New York. The season has come to the World Championships here at CeBIT, and all the players coming together. This year's championship will be shown across the globe and will be streamed across 35 different TV stations, going out in 9 different languages all across the world, and of course in stunning high definition. The World Championship is the culmination of a season-long desire to be crowned the world champion and take a slice of the $250,000 in prize money. Let's take a look at what it means to the players.
Perfect moment. Stalkers and Dallas come in, but the point of Finstrom going down once again. The champion of the Intel Extreme Masters. Attacking from both sides. Really nice attacking.
Noctua, they're going to finish it off. Here comes the ulti from Noctua.
More prism speed finishes it. Oh, but the shuttle just focused down.
Actually, they're going to flash in there. The perfect time. Nice Janna ulti. Kivers comes down. Oh my god.
Puma really just breaking C Marine.
Somebody gets it!
GG!
The Intel Extreme Masters World Championship 2012.
Right now, I'd like to introduce the men who helped make it all happen. George.
It's been a really long road. I'm actually very, very tired from all the work. It's been a very long road. It's been 5 events. This is event number 6, the World Championship. We've got the world's best gamers here. We've got $283,000. And damn, I wish I was good enough to play on this stage. George.
Well, yeah, it's been a great season, Miel. 6 stops. Finally, you know, it's hard, long season, great partners. And we're finally here, the World Championship. I'm very pleased to have such a great environment to be in. I think that 144 best gamers are going to be here. I think we're all in for a great treat for the next 5 days. So,
it's going to be a long 5 days. I'm going to be the suit now. I'm going to thank Intel, who paid for all of this, and obviously the support from our providers, BenQ, Razer, and Twitch TV. Also, lots of support. So, thank you to those partners, and I hope that you guys will go on Twitter and tweet them how awesome they are for supporting Intel Extreme Masters and your favorite hobby. But I'm boring again, so we'll give it back to Paul and Alin, and let's get this show on the road.
Thank you very much, George and Carmack. One more big of a round of applause for the two.
Okay, without further delay, let's officially open the World Championship. Hooray. You're supposed to cheer, I don't know. They'll wake up eventually. Yeah, there they go. Okay, first set of games today, we're going to open up with League of Legends, which means it's time to throw you over to our one and only Lee D-Man Smith.
Thank you very much, Paul, and welcome to the Intel Extreme Masters and the very first League of Legends game of what will be a awesome, awesome tournament here at the World Championships in CeBIT Hanover. And of course, joining me will be the one and only David Freak Turley. We're going to have CLG versus Dignitas to start, and wow, what a game to begin with.
And this is the group stage, right? Like, this is the kind of match you would expect to see in a lot of tournament grand finals. These teams have met before in Intel Extreme Masters as well. They met in New York, basically in late 2011. These guys have met online for a couple of different events, and they have quite the history, actually. At IEM New York, they met in the group stage, and CLG won that match, and so at least the recent LAN history is in CLG's favor. But the last two times that these teams have fought online, Dignitas has come out ahead, and they're usually been best of threes. And actually, the most recent one, they lost game 1, then came back to win 2 and 3. But of course, the group stages here, it's best of 1, so they can't really hope to do this comeback type thing. It's all up to this one game. They've got to do a good job with it, and it can really go either way. These teams have traded games, and in BO1, really anything can happen. So, you know, what do you think is going to happen here?
Well, I mean, it's first game of LAN, which is always a hard thing to begin with, and to be starting at such a... I mean, the fact is there is no easy opponents in this. Obviously, some people would have their thoughts on them. There they are backstage, obviously getting themselves ready. But you know how these guys traveled. They've come across from America. You know, I know they've all had very long trips, especially the CLG and Dignitas guys. You know, Dignitas come from like West Coast, East Coast. They're all in the mountain regions. They're all from all over the place. They have to converge. I think I heard that IMQT players maybe not slept very well or for the last 2 days. So I'm not too sure how these things are going to go. But you know, these things are effective. And that stage behind us is massive.
It's a giant freaking stage, man. There's like 3 to 4 monitors there. There's actually room for every player's computer right there. There's actually, 30 computers lined up. There's 6 teams from each group. You know, 5 per team, of course. And there's all lined up on stage. The players don't have to move the entire time. There's room for them all just on the stage. It's not like there's a player, you know, background place way back there or anything. No, there's all up on stage. So you can actually watch. If you come over to CeBIT, by the way, you can come over here to Hanover and actually watch your players play in person. All the matches will be right in front of your eyes, of course. They'll be up on the screens behind us, and we'll be here as well to bring you the matches for these 5 days. And these are going to be really awesome.
Yeah, so I guess without further ado, you can see the players ready and waiting to come out and face the cameras, as it were. So we're going to pass back to Ellen and introduce the players.
We've got 144 gamers from all across the world, a prize pool of $283,000. So without further ado, let's welcome the 2 teams that will be opening the League of Legends tournament. Give it up for CLG and Team Dignitas.
And I'm here on the stage with apparently the 2 captains, right? Yes, anyway, I'm here with Skara and Chorster right now. I'm just going to start with you, Chorster. How do you guys feel? How's your trip been? How's everything been so far?
We just got here last night. It's been nice. We just like stayed in a little hotel and we just got out right now. So we're just ready to play.
Cool. So you guys, how do you feel? Kiev, you took 3rd place, but I get a feeling you practiced even more since then. How do you feel now? Do you feel ready for this? Do you feel good about this tournament?
Yeah, I feel pretty excited about this tournament. I hope to show off something interesting that people haven't seen before. First game, and so should be interesting.
Well, speaking of which, little birdie told me that there's going to be 2 champions that will be nerfed after this tournament thanks to things that you guys have planned. You're not going to say anything about that, but let me just give us a sort of an idea. How important do you think it is to come to a tournament with a completely new, untested strategy? Do you think that's something that's really important, or is it more like a gimmick that you can pull if you want to?
It's not really a gimmick. I guess it's actually smart if you're the first one to come out with something into the competitive scene. So it really depends if it actually works or not. I mean, you only know if it works if you practice it. So yeah, just gotta try to keep it a secret.
All right, I think we're all looking forward to seeing that. Skara, just you didn't have that much time to practice before Kiev. We talked about it at Kiev, but these last couple of days, there's something mysterious going on with Team Dignitas where you guys just disappear for a few hours at night and do something. You're probably not going to give away your big secret here right now, but would you say that there's something special that's gone into preparations for this tournament?
Yeah, let's just say we're pretty excited about this tournament. We feel really confident coming in. Outside, a lot of people had travel issues, and I'm hoping that doesn't affect our play too much, but we're very confident about our play coming in.
Awesome. So last question to you, Josta. You guys aren't going back to North America after this tournament. You're heading straight to Korea. How does that feel? I mean, how does the team dynamic in CLG feel right now? Do you guys feel excited to be together in Korea for so many weeks? Is it going to be like, oh my God, I'm going to have to spend all that time with these guys? What's the feeling like in the team at the moment?
It feels really cool because like I just play League of Legends and I get to travel to Korea for a few months and we just get to have a gaming house and just live together. I mean, they're my teammates, but they're also my friends. So it's going to be really cool living together.
That sounds pretty good. And last question to you. You guys just quite recently played in the Curse Invitational, and rudely enough, even though Curse invited you to play in the Invitational, you beat them, I think, 2-0 in the finals. So how did that feel? I heard there was a couple of issues with the room that you played in and everything. How do you think are the nerves of your team right now? Do you think your team is up for a really I'm just going to say the word big offline tournament? Is that something that you guys feel up to nerves-wise, or are you nervous?
Going to Kiev, we had a lot of people who weren't very experienced in traveling, but I'm hoping after a couple of tournaments, offline tournaments, we're pretty comfortable playing in offline settings right now. So we should show some pretty good games today.
Nice. I think we're all looking forward to that, and yeah guys, best of luck. I hope to see a really interesting opening match to this tournament. I think it's a pretty big one. Lots of people in the US probably stayed up for this one, so give them a good show, and good luck to both of you. I think we're going back to the casters with this.
Yeah, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So, wow, what a game to begin with.
Yeah.
You can see that both teams have really prepared heavily for this one.
Yeah,
and Daniel touched on it there, and it has been happening a lot for the last week. Teams have been scrimming. You know, these are guys that stream 24/7.
Pretty much.
Streams have been off.
That's true.
Things have been quiet on the background. And I've been away for a week. I got back and was like, what's happening? Couldn't get hold of anyone. Nobody wanted to talk at all. It was all like top secret. No, you know what? I was like, well, can you maybe show some replays? He's like, no. No. Just flat out denied. Dignitas were like, we definitely don't show anyone replays. Definitely no chance of that. I've seen a few CLG EU replays, and you know, there's been some pretty interesting stuff going on. So I'm really looking forward to this tournament because I think, you know, there's going to be, and Chauster touched on it, you know, it's for the first people that actually come out with it, like say Moscow 5, obviously with Showdown, etc., you know, suddenly blitz the tournament. It's possible to do, and it may take a whole event before someone actually figures out how to counter that.
Yeah, absolutely, and we did see that with Moscow 5, where pretty much every game they won was super convincing. The one game they actually lost, we'll actually see a rematch here in Group B the next day as Team Solomid came by with a very aggressive mid lane where they got Cassiopeia and they got Lee Sin. They gave away blue buff right away, and then they had a really good early game presence and shut down that strategy, but that was the only time Moscow 5 even looked touchable in that whole event. And you know, both these teams are saying, you know, Dignitas and Counterlogic Gaming saying, well, we've got something prepared. We know what we're going to do. You guys are going to be surprised. It's going to be great. We're not telling you what it is, but we're going to see something. And these teams are confident they've brought something new to the table, and it could be the same kind of thing where they take the entire series by storm and no one knows how to beat them. I'm interested to see if these strategies actually will counteract each other, or how they're going to actually sort of, you know, compare one to another. The other part about that as well is is you've got this sort of situation where, you know, all the teams can watch them tomorrow, and of course these teams still have to make it out of the group stage. They've got to survive. They've got to make it out to the next day. But I mean, this could get really scary really quickly for these guys. You know, if you know, they suddenly go down a game or go down 2 games, they've got to maybe turn their strategies around, or they've got to use them now. Maybe they're trying to save them. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
But there's all sorts of weird psychological things going on here. You've got, you know, some of the world's best teams, you know, just completely showing up here, and especially being best of one, any team can beat any team here.
Yeah, and can you afford to save that super secret strategy to the best of 3s? Can you get to the best of 3s? I mean, just look at the group. You got CLG, Dignitas, Against All Authority obviously coming as a replacement, who are absolutely setting online ablaze at the moment, are ripping everyone apart. Fnatic are in there, you know, won two stops. They won DreamHack Season 1. They won obviously in New York as well, and you know, they were untouchable in New York. Haven't really done it lately, but we know when they turn up on event, they are just phenomenal. Yeah. You've got Millennium in there with the Kuja's team as well, and Alternate coming in as a step up. Maybe they're just going to throw something out there, you know. Effectively, they've got nothing to lose, so they're coming to this tournament, you know, it's like, let's just try something wild. So, like you say, a simple one-match game, anything can happen. You can get caught out by a horrible pick. Just look at SKTSM at Kiev. Ocelot got completely caught out by that pick with LeBlanc at the start, and Reginald's just like, well, that's it, Sion. So the picks and bans that we're going to be going into are so important that these guys, you know, even from the very beginning, they've got to be switched on. I mean, it's 9 a.m. here, or 9:30 at our time, but for them, it's probably like midnight, 2 a.m. or
West
something.
Coast, it's midnight right now, and you know, you're right, there's a lot of stories to talk about here. You know, in the interview with Skara right there, he talked about how, you know, we think some of our players are now finally LAN tournament ready, and I think the one he's referring to here is actually I Will Dominate. He's their most recent addition. Once Jat left the team, they grabbed a new jungler, I Will Dominate. The rest of the Dignitas lineup, I mean, PewDiePie, Skara, Locust, Voyboy, they've been together for a long time. These guys have been playing together for many months, you know, years even, and Dominate, that was his first LAN, I believe. His first lane was IEM Kiev, and they still came through and took third with, you know, really good teams. Moscow 5, Team Solomid taking that first and second slot, and you know, also taking that third place against SK Gaming, who are also here at this tournament. You know, these are not no-name teams by any meaning at all. So you've got a guy like I Will Dominate, who's new to the team, who's new to playing on LAN. Now he's coming back again, you know, with a little bit more practice there. The team is confident. I think they're going to look really good here. Counterlogic Gaming the same way. They've had a pretty stable lineup for a while. 3 of their members, Hotshot GG, Chowster, and Big Fat LP, they've all been founding members of that team. And that team's like 1.5 years or 2 years old by this point. They've been around forever. They're one of the very first ever competitive League of Legends teams.
But the big thing is, it's like, the team they've got at the moment has never actually won anything. You know, the lineup they currently have, you got to think of Gamescom. Salsi was there. MLG, who was, in fact, it was, what's his name?
Was it Elements?
No, it was Voyboy. Voyboy was playing for them at MLG. So, you know, they've actually never won with this lineup. They've not won anything. So there's pressure straight away. Obviously, they went to Korea. They came second. I think it is actually official now. They've, you know, aired that episode. So there's probably a lot of pressure on CLG here, and especially with the fact they're going straight off to Korea after this. You know, they're going into this other big tournament they want to play in, but there's so much pressure. And Dignitas, you know, ever since MLG IPL 3, they've been looking for that time to just recapture that form, and it's just not happened for them so far. So hopefully we're going to see some epic games, and what is effectively a big North American battle here in Europe.
Absolutely the case, and I mean, this is really you know, a good match to start on. Of course, it's as we mentioned, it's like 12:30 roughly on the west coast of the U.S. So hopefully you guys are still staying up, and you're going to have this game going on pretty soon. And then you know, either you stay and watch the rest of the games, which we would love, or at least you can catch some sleep and, you know, maybe come back and watch before the tournament ends. But we've got 5 days going on. It's going to go all through the weekend up to Saturday as well.
There's so many games.
So you guys should mark your calendars, plan your days, plan your weeks around this event. This is a very important place to be. Got $100,000 up for grabs for across these teams, $50,000 for the first place team, and looks like we are going to be good to go very shortly here. Looks like we've got Champion Select started, the picks and bans, and immediately I Will Dominate banning out. Looks like Ramus, I believe, is the first ban there.
Yeah, so it's going to be good to see. You know, obviously these guys, we actually were watching in the pre-warm-up, we were watching, see what they were doing, and CLG went through about 5 different restarts, locked game, 5 things. So hopefully we're going to see something crazy at level 1. I don't know. So let's just keep our eye on their strategy. Obviously Shen being banned out. Shen been one of the hot favorites lately. Pretty much auto-banned ever since he got his buff and then nerf. but he's still loved.
Yeah, he's
now,
still
Udyr
well
being banned out there. Obviously, used to be Jack's main one as Dignitas. Used to be pretty much his standard one. And I Will Dominate, also very good at him. Cassiopeia being taken out there.
Interesting.
Not too sure how much Scour has been playing Cassiopeia lately.
But
I'd have to check out the full-on stats.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know CLG, I think what they're trying to do right here is pick these very safe options that are first pickable. I think they're trying to just pick like the ubiquitous, always going to pick this champion. Cassiopeia, Ryze, Shen, those are champions like that. Udyr's actually the same way. In Aurelia, where you can kind of grab them and there's not any really terrible matchups. Or in the case of like Udyr or Lee Sin or Shyvana, you can take them mid, or you can take them top, you can take them jungle. And there is the Ryze ban. I'm actually surprised that Dignitas banning out Ryze. That means I think they have a strategy prepared already, because I think they would love to grab Ryze as their mage of choice. I think they'd love to do that. Ryze, really safe laner. And there is that Lee Sin ban. They've actually targeted that, I think, at I Will Dominate. So we'll see what this goes for. But there's a couple of things here, right? Dominate is actually a player that a lot of players have called out as someone who's easily bannable. That he only knows so many champions at a competitive level, right? He's a newcomer to this top level scene. So he's the kind of player that a lot of people will not respect for a while. And it's the kind of thing we've actually seen in a couple of different places where, if you look back at like IEM New York with V8 Esports, where they would ban out Karthus every time and just immediately drop that one away from Phantom Lord. There's a couple of similar choices here. So we've got Alistar here coming in as a possible jungler pick. Of course, the first pick, Janna. We're really no strangers to first pick support at the IEM series here. We saw that all last time in Kiev, where it was Sona all the time. Now it's Janna. Moved on a little bit to their first pick support. But it works. It's a very safe way of playing.
Okay.
And they have grabbed that.
So we'd heard about Mundo possibly being picked up here, and they have locked it in alongside Alistar. So is this possibly going to be the Alistar support? The Americans tend to run Alistar support a bit more. Europe tends to always run Alistar jungle. Well, certainly Snoopy and a few others, that tend to be running heavily. I'm Ikutupai picking possibly Twitch here, but I'm Ikutupai. I never trust what he's picking.
Yeah, of course. We'll wait around for a little bit on that one.
Corki and Shyvana possibly. Okay, well, Shyvana is definitely one of the dragons. Well, he is a dragon. One of the heroes we've seen so heavily over at Kiev. So kind of a natural reaction pick there. So interesting to see how this one's going to line up. Immediately, I'm not sure how this is. So do you think it's going to be Mundo jungle?
She's usually played as a jungler. He's extremely fast. It's funny. He's actually very similar in playstyle to Shyvana, in that the whole playstyle is you don't bring a ton of crowd control or a ton of like utility to your team. Of course, you have some, but you're a really fast jungler. Between Shyvana's W Burnout or Burning Agony, which is his W on Dr. Mundo, they clear out camps really quickly, and they're all about getting rid of them, not having to use mana, so you can give that golem buff away to your mage and mid from the very start of the game. And you run around, you have some counter juggling, you have some pressure, and they're very durable sort of frontline champions as well. Now I like this Swain pickup, and that is going to be locked in here from CLG. Oh, is that really going to be Alistar Blitzcrank? It is! My God. It's Blitzstar. They've brought out Blitzstar, the Alistar Blitzcrank lane from Counter Logic Gaming. And there's two stories here. One, a double lift known as an Alistar player. Sorry, as a Blitzcrank player. Yeah. Just kidding. Known as a Blitzcrank player, and is like, yeah, dude, this is like his guy. That's how he grew to notoriety. Wow. But also, there's a quote from him, a couple months old, where he's like, yeah, Blitzcrank is not a competitively viable champion. Also, he said Poppy the same way, and we'll see. I think both these champions are things that we've actually seen. Poppy's been on the rise recently, actually, as a solo top champion. But also, this Blitzcrank grab, I'm really looking forward to see. I think it's going to be a really interesting setup here. Now, the unfortunate thing for them, though, is Janna Corki's a fairly safe lane. They've got 2 to 3 crowd controls there. Corki can Valkyrie away. So it's, how long can they survive against this crowd control chain from CLG?
Wow.
Oh, and Mordekaiser coming in now as well. There's some interesting freaking picks here. I like this a lot.
This is definitely changing things up very quickly already. So definitely a change of the meta, I guess you could say. From the very first game of the Intel Extreme Masters. So neither team holding anything back. They know this is a big, important game. Obviously counting each other as pretty close rivals that maybe go from the top spot in this group. Because obviously the top spot's all about getting the buy through and Urgot being locked in.
And that makes so much sense. That makes a lot of sense. And you think back on it, and Big Fat LP is known for playing Urgot, actually. He's like, I play AP mid and sometimes Urgot. And actually, Urgot 1 is going to do probably pretty well against Mordekaiser. As long as he doesn't run out of mana, it's pretty easy for Urgot to keep taking shots at him and pick that shield down and deal some real damage here. Additionally, you've got I almost feel like Nidalee is a counter pick here, because Nidalee is going to be a poker and a healer, and when you're against someone like a non-sustained lane like Alistar Blitzcrank, where Alistar's a heal, but it's not that gigantic, but he's got that poke, right, from the double lift, from that Blitzcrank Q. You have the Nidalee Q to go back there. Then on the same hand, you've got this Mordekaiser really pushy lane to synergize with the Shyvana, and Urgot can't push, and neither can Swain really easily. And so, whereas like a level 6 Nidalee can actually push quite easily, Nidalee is a champion who can push quite successfully, and so you've got a very aggressive lineup possibility here from Dignitas. You've got a lot of tools here, and like I like their lineup. I think their lineup is better here, and the reasons why are it's a lot of different ones, but I like them a lot. And every single lane can push really hard, just flat out. You can push and then go into the jungle.
It's a safer lineup because there's a lot on the line with the Blitzcrank grab straight away.
Yeah.
But if they do catch someone, like you say, it can hurt. But they, like you say, it's Corki down the bottom. So you've got the Valkyrie straight away. You can get out of it. You got Howling Gale to just interrupt them as they go. So I'm not sure. I mean, it's definitely going to be a different game from what we've seen in the last few months.
Yeah,
definitely. They're not hanging around with this one. They've thrown it straight out. So they're showing their hands from the very first game at the tournament.
And I do like I said, I just really do like that Blitz Alistar lane. I think that's a really good choice there. Janna Corki's it's kind of a standard lane. Corki's actually been a very common pick from QtPie for a while. He used that in the last few online tournaments that they played against CLG specifically as well. And, it worked great for him back then. The Janna pick, I think, is just a great... just a pick in general. She has a lot of really good options, especially when you've got champions like Blitzcrank and Alistar who want to kind of get in there and initiate, and you've got that ult, you've got the Janna ult to push everyone back and sort of restart that fight. And the only way that falls apart is if they actually get a Blitzcrank pull. If Alistar goes in, Janna can push back, but if Blitz pulls you, Janna's got to run all the way up there and push everyone back from underneath a turret or some kind of really scary location. That's not going to be very easy. Now, on the flip side, that you've got maybe someone like Shyvana who can get pulled and then just ult out and be okay. Mordekaiser, I mean, it depends how you build Mordekaiser. You can build him like full tank, and you actually are pretty much all right in that. You just kind of, self-cast W, pop an ult on someone, you'll probably make it out. But the way I've seen a lot of Mordekaisers build is like Sork Shoes, Death Cap, like just full-on glass cannon, and the Mordekaiser, like that's going to blow up to a Blitz Alistar combo. If you pull him in, the guy's going to get knocked up and just die over the course of like a 3-second crowd control. So it's going to be really up to how well Dignitas can survive these pulls, but I think if they're able to do that, I think their lineup is just extremely strong and has a lot of potential there.
Moving on past the lane phase, they've got such an incredibly strong, tanky lineup. Obviously, Urgot's very tanky, so you've got no weak AP to target. You've got no weak support to target.
That's true. Their whole lineup is tanky.
You've got nothing weak to target in there. So there is no one there. I mean, I guess
Swain is the squishiest champion.
Swain is really not squishy. So I mean, it's just like ulti, give me all your heals, etc. So there is no one squishy in there to target. I mean, who would you go for in there? I guess Blitzcrank maybe is probably possibly the squishiest or Urgot.
Yeah, who are they going to give farm in that lane though? Because Blitzcrank with farm actually can get pretty beefy. If you're going to play more of a DPS-esque Blitzcrank as opposed to a support Blitzcrank, you can actually get that Manamune out there. It's pretty easy to build resistances. Frozen Heart's actually not a bad choice there either. Just whether it feeds into the Manamune or just feeds into lower cooldowns on Power Fist. He's going to get pretty durable pretty fast. And you've got a giant meat wall of Alistar, Blitzcrank, Dr. Mundo, and it's like I don't care if you Nidalee Spear. We're kind of okay with it, and that's a little bit scary to think about. Like, how are you going to break through that?
They've literally no one to protect. They don't need to protect. I mean, we've seen it often with CLG, obviously having the Cogmore, the full-on 3-minute shield protection, which is something they ran, I think, throughout Gamescom. But there's just no one they need to protect. It's just like everyone just go.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's two more things I thought about with this lineup as well. Is you've also got the ability to flash Urgot ults. Because you think about it, right? Like, if you're anywhere in the room, right, you flash ult, and you Blitzcrank knows how long it's going to take to land that pull, and he's going to be like, okay, and Power Fist, right, or Rocket Grab, and he's all the way back, like 2,000 range, and like anyone he catches with that will die. Like, there's almost no way it's not going to happen. On the other side, despite how CC heavy CLG is, Dignitas has like 2, right? I Will Dominate has none except for the ultimate, kind of. Corki has 0, Nidalee has 0, Mordekaiser has 0, Janna's got 3, which is pretty good.
Janna,
yeah, I mean, so Janna's like their entire team's crowd control, and that's it. That's all they've got for crowd control. So that is kind of scary for Dignitas, but if they can get to the point where their team is just better, CLG can't initiate on them that well, and they'll be in a lot better shape. They'll be a lot more durable. Their damage output, I think, is just better. I think Corki does out DPS Urgot. It's just kind of the case. It's how that works. But he's going to be less safe in this sort of lineup.
So they're going to have to play it literally on the towers. I think for the first sort of few levels, they're going to be so cautious, especially the Corki Janna. Obviously, you get a grab, and even early on, they're not going to get away with it. Headbutt pulverize away. So Wow, what a game to begin with, ladies and gentlemen. CLG versus Dignitas. Who do you think is going to win? Obviously, you're going to be watching yourselves on many of the chat channels, the forums. Feel free to post it out. We will read it all, don't we? We try to catch up on everything, all the forums. We'll just search on Freak or something.
Yep, yeah, basically.
Probably be a few others. I'll tell you now, it's me doing the camera, so don't blame Freak if you miss anything.
My hands are clean.
But it could well be me missing things. But I'm not saying I'm going to be perfect here, but it is going to be me covering the camera. So I'm giving you a get out clause straight away there.
There's one other thing I want to point out as well. I keep looking at these lineups and then remembering other cool things that are happening. One thing that's special is Hotshot GG of Counterlogic Gaming is known for playing needily, but he's actually going to be fighting that champion. It's actually Voyboy from Dignitas going to be playing her in this game, and so we'll see how that pans out. You've got even more fun matchups, but we'll see you guys after this quick break with the game one, the first game of the day, CLG versus Dignitas in the group stage.
So let's give you a quick roster rundown in case you missed it, in case you missed those picks and bans. It is a pretty insane lineup from both teams. So for CLG, it is going to be St. Vicious on Mundo, Doublelift on Blitzcrank. You are reading these correctly. It is Chowstar on Alistair, Big Fat GG on Urgot, and wow, Hotshot GG on Swain. There is just no one that's going to be dead in that. That's such a tanky lineup. In the middle for Dignitas, it will be Skara on Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser we saw quite a bit over in Kiev. Locust will be on Jana down the bottom with I'm a Cutie Pie on Corky. Voyboy up the top on Nidalee, and Shivana in the jungle will be I Will Dominate. Doublelift walking in towards the Nidalee trap there, immediately giving it. So they were going to try and go for a quick invade on blue. Had to back away from that one. The ping's going out, and again, they are actually going to take Golems away. Now, Golems have been buffed a little bit, but I'm not too sure which patch that was on.
No, that's not going to be in this one. By the way, for those who are wondering from home, this is basically played on the Nautilus patch. Now, the last patch we had was really light. It was some minor changes to Lux, some minor changes to Ziggs, and of course, the addition of our latest champion of the league, Fiora. But otherwise, it's pretty much the exact same as you'll see on live. There's no real major changes. We kind of knew that coming into it. Very simple. Oh, the Blitzcrank pull on the Golem is a very smart choice. That's why they were going in there. And as soon as it's smiteable, they can grab that. But of course, it actually reset. So CLG not in the happiest place despite all that. They managed to make that move. And despite how much we were talking about how they were spending, okay, 5, go, launch the game, let's get there, let's make sure we're okay. And then they missed up the pull. But I think that's still going to be Swain holding it, and they're probably going to be okay.
Yeah, so they will be okay, but Shivana is going to come around the backside of St. Vicious in a moment. Got to be careful what we say, because obviously I only have around about 20-second delay to the stage, so these guys can hear us, so we have to be very wary of our ward placements, etc., whether we give things away too often. So let's have a look at these lineups. How do we think they're going to go? To start off, top lane, Nidalee versus Swain. I'm not too sure. I think Voyboy may have a slight advantage in that one. You can see he's already pushing Hotshot away from the experience there, trying his best to keep him away from the CS. Let's have a look towards the middle. It's going to be, well, Urgot. It's going to be pretty strong early on, but Skara's not really taking anything for justice. He's just quite happily bullying him away. And down the bottom, this is going to be the lane we're going to have to be so quick to watch.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of chances here.
Oh, and Hotshot's already going to back away from that one. So I Will Dominate coming out there, but immediately backing away. With that red buff, realised the blue buff had been taken away. I didn't see, I think it was Mundo that took the blue buff. Yes, it is. And now he's taking it away as well on this side. I'm guessing Urgot's going to make a move across any second now, but he's having a few problems with Skara in the middle, so he doesn't want to come across. Or whether he's actually just going to take both of them. Yes, he has just taken both of them. So eating up both blue buffs there, St. Vicious.
Yep, we'll see what they can do with this. Looks like I Will Dominate still just more, creeping around on his side of the jungle, though. Level 3.5 for I Will Dominate for that Shyvana. St. Vicious, 13 minions versus 13s. They're actually equalized, despite, that blue steel and all that. They've been pretty much equaling out. You can see, trying to figure out where the blue buff went, because they're both gone. I don't know if Moona just grabbed them both for himself, but yeah, the golem buffs are both gone. I think Moona just kind of doubled up there. So he's been doing a good job there. Shyvana's still wearing red, and Moona not getting his own red, so I feel like St. Vicious now kind of winning the jungle battle in that he's getting himself, yeah, there we go, first level 4. I think he's kind of beating that one. So yeah, doing a great job so far. And that's all kinds of glorious.
All kinds of glorious, and Kitipo has been forcing them back on the tower. This is kind of what you expect. The early levels down the bottom lane, they're going to have that little bit of pressure on them early on. He's trying to use that range advantage that he's got. I'm seeing Mundo setting up at the moment. You can see Mordekaiser just prepping himself. Skara's the thing with and there's no one weak in the early levels at all either for CLG, so they've got a very strong early game team here. Now Nidalee has just been back to buy.
Let's take some pressure on Ascara in the mid real quick. Or am I ahead of you, actually? Oh, I'm slightly ahead of you on the broadcast. This is going to be interesting.
Okay, that's no problem. But he walked away from that one, no problem. But exhaust was used up there as well as the slow. But he did burn the flash out, I believe, to get away from that one. So flash burned out. We'll keep an eye on that one down there. Meanwhile, down the bottom, you can see a little bit of pushing and prodding. So Doublelift trying his best to force IMQTPie away, but he's playing it wise, exactly like you need to do with the Blitzcrank, just sticking in amongst the minions.
Yeah, and look at the minions, though. It's actually not too great. It's like 25 minions for bot lane, but but for Corki, it's a lot better off. He's winning by about 10 minions or so.
Top lane. Just keep my eye on the top lane. I will dominate coming around the backside of Hotshot again. Hotshot managing to land his stunning him, and we'll just back away from that one. Took half health, though, and that was really a case of
coming by now, this time
being
in
aware.
Mid. Sorry about that, but Scar is actually getting jumped on right now in mid, and that's not looking good for him. And I'm unfortunately ahead of you, but there's first blood picked up. And nice job there.
Yeah, so it's about a 3-second gap for some reason there, but I will dominate. He is going to come back and cover off, so that tower won't get pushed. But that's going to give Monday the chance to actually try and invade as much as possible. It's not going to happen, though, for him, so he's going to back away. Let's have a look to see what they buy. So first blood goes down. I didn't miss it. It's all good.
Nice job, nice job. Well, I get to cheat for you now. It's like, there's a fight in mid. Yes, there is, actually. Mundo's coming in.
Yeah.
So you're welcome.
We have this covered. So let's have a look at what they're buying. There's a lot of pink wards coming out here. This is something that sort of developed from World Cyber Games, I believe it was. You know, we saw the pink wards being used a lot more heavily, certainly by the XGBT team, which are obviously not in attendance this one, but they really used the pink wards quite dramatically. And I think a lot of the teams picked up on it. You know, like they were saying, actually their ward placement is really very good, and they actually time it so they can see that the support goes, places it, goes straight away, place that pink ward on, saving yourself basically buying an Oracles.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. We'll see, looks like, yeah, Blitzcrank coming back down. Of course, they have pinged him, so they know that Doublelift is on the way. But the minion kills are just... Actually, they're letting Alistar get most of the farm, interestingly. Chowster's getting most of the gold here in this bottom lane. But, of course, Corki just dominating everyone in gold income. And you can see that despite the first blood in CLG's favor, only 200 gold separate these two teams.
And there we go. Corki just going back. He just got himself a triple Doran's Blade, so going pretty standard for Corki now. Just keeping my eye on exactly what everyone's buying. Of course, you can see them. This is the new thing that came in the spectator mode. You'll see them bubbling up in the bottom here as they get bought out. Obviously, you don't have the current spec mode, which is you have a nice little text message as well. I'm really loving it.
Yeah,
so
for the big ones.
It's just amazing how much this has developed since a year since last CeBIT.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And a couple of fun things going on here. QtPie, by the way, actually seems to always go triple Dorans. You called that one out, and he's been doing that pretty much every game forever. He just keeps going triple Dorans all day, every day, and it kind of crushes pretty hard. So, he's going to try to keep winning lane that way, and the extra 300 health is going to help him in this lane as well. If he ever gets pulled, it'll be better for him to survive.
Not too sure why I'm trying to point anything out to you. You are ahead of me. You're like, yeah, this is already gone by.
There's a fight mid. No, he's safe. Don't worry.
Yeah, no,
we're okay.
He's safe. Just carry on. Yeah, okay. Just look across now.
Yeah, but Voyboy been given the blue buff now this time, so finally Shyvana caught up with he's going to jump in onto Swain, actually. Some good damage, but actually looks like Hotshot won that fight. Got him down to about half health. And, Voyboy's going to keep healing up, though, and try to come back and survive.
Yeah, you can see the bottom lane, like you said, you mentioned, is actually the gold going towards Alistar, so going to be interesting to see how he's going to spec that. You can see he's already got the Sheen out there, so he's going to want that extra bit of damage he's going to get once they manage to get that combo, but still yet to get that combo, playing it very, very safe down the bottom here, Dignitas, and wisely you can see just sticking in amongst that pack. They do not want to go towards that bush, which is what they were doing. Yeah, wisely back away, actually trying to be very aggressive there. Overdrive used by Doublelift to escape that. I thought he was going to get caught out. I'm also seeing Scoura going for a invade here on the Wraiths.
When he tried to pick up the race, and of course they all got left with one health, and Big Fat found that out. And you can see the amount of pressure there available by Urgot is pretty good. You see he dropped down below half health and could not quite finish up those Wraiths either, which is a little bit unfortunate for Scoura.
Meanwhile, down the bottom there, you can see IMQTPie did, I think, get hooked in there, because his hit point's definitely gone down. Chowster's trying his best to get in on them. That's, at the moment, the junglers have not made that much of an impression on the game. Certainly as Giovanna is, I mean, and this is like you said, they are very fast junglers, but you know they're not ones to come out and make some crazy ganks.
Gosh, so much pressure at the top lane. Voivoy just came in there and jumped down into Hotshot GG pretty hard, down to half health already. And Voivoy, of course, with that self-heal, constantly doing a great job. Hotshot having to chug mana potions and using that ultimate form just to get some health back whenever he can. You can see Mundo actually making his way towards the top as well. St. Vision with an early Oracles as well. He's going to sweep that ward out from Voivoy. Now Voivoy, if he manages to not dodge Never Move, is going to be in really bad shape. Normally as Cougar form, he's going to be safe there, but that can always go really bad if Hotshot lands a W.
Yeah, so throwing out those spears with that blue, obviously he can keep churning them out. He's well aware of the fact, but Nidalee is going to be very, very hard to pin down. So like you say, it's like while they're very tanking, if they get caught, they will be in trouble, but they've got a very good escape on all these lanes at the moment. Nidalee is one of those so hard champions to catch. Giovanna making her way down towards the bottom here. You can see Doublelift maybe looking to try and get a grab on Cutie there, and if he does, he will do a lot of damage. Sheen obviously sat ready and waiting. Can he try and go for it at the moment? We know you're way ahead, and they are going to dive straight in there. That's going to be Dominic coming across, and the exhaust being used at the right time. It's Chowster that are actually targeting, which is not too sure he's going to use that. Alistair ulti and Doublelift trying to pull them in. That would have been death to anyone at the top.
But at the top, though, Mundo's chasing down on a Voivoy, actually. This is not going to look good for him. There we go, Mundo jumping in, lands that cleaver at the last second. Nice shot there. And now 2-0 on the kill score, and CLG looks like they're going to really want to go in for some kind of pressure, but at the same time, Dignitas countering with the Dragon at the bottom there, so they're going to actually trade that gold, and you know it's going to equalize a little bit here. The Dragon is pretty worthwhile. 17:05 is going to be that Dragon respawn, and actually no, CLG's not going to go for the turret kill. They're actually going to leave it up there, I guess to I don't know, keep that lane pushed up as much as possible, but they could have gone for some more pressure there if they wanted to.
Yeah, so let's have a look across at the gold. You can see the Manamune has just been bought up by Urgot there in the middle. So looks like a BF sword will come out from Corki shortly. He's got 1,600 gold. I'm guessing he's teleporting back. Yes, he is. So that's going to be a BF sword. So building towards a possible black cleaver. We talked about this off air, that it's these sort of builds that they go with. And obviously, you mentioned the Manamune earlier on. They're really pretty much standard builds for across the board. Well, we're going to counter. No, he's not going to go for it. He's just simply placing a ward. Janna's got to be careful getting caught out by Chowster down the bottom there on Alistair. Do you think this is a lane we're going to see more often down the bottom here?
It's a possibility. It's not really working that well for them, though. They're actually not doing a great job. They are keeping them, you know, from roaming too much. The bot lane's kind of just sitting there for sure. And it does give them this late game sort of, you know, big tank potential that they, you know, you can't really run Blitzcrank or Alistair mid, so if you want some more beef in your lineup, it's a good place to put them. But they're losing the lane in terms of minion kills, I think. It's 83 between Alistair and Blitz, and it's 105 for Corki. So gold is going better for Dignitas at the bottom lane. Maybe that's just because Shyvana's showing up more than Mundo is, but either way, bottom lane is right now winning for Dignitas.
So both junglers again continuing around their business. And Justin Corki actually returned to lane. So we're going to see what Corki actually does. He's got that BF sword now, so he's going to want to pressure more. You can see the shield goes on, so effectively giving him a second BF sword right now at this level. He's probably leveled that one up. So he's going to try to put pressure on them as much as possible. You can see now, has got the grab on towards him. Will get the pulverize down, but immediately the Monsoon from Locust set blasts them backwards and saves Cutie from any damage at all. So that is the danger of the combo. You can see he actually stripped about half his health off straight away, but that ulti immediately saving the day.
A lot of coordination there. You saw that Blitzcrank pop his ultimate to kill the minions off in order for him to land the pull afterwards. That was a really good combo there from Doublelift, and then Chowster followed up almost right away, was able to interrupt partway through Cutie Pie's Valkyrie back, and also to drop out that Janna ult as well. So they are a very coordinated team, but they don't seem to be winning the lane though. However, that said, Big Fat LP is beating Skara in mid, that Urgot, winning in minions by looks like about 15. And one thing to point out is Skara is actually the current #1 ranked player on North American solo queue ladder. So at least on paper, Skara is like the most individually skilled player in the game, and is with this lane right now to this Urgot player. So I mean, props to Big Fat LP for playing a very good game. Voivoy now jumping up on a hot shot right now, getting him down pretty low, and actually still going for that pressure. By the way, actually being built as 80 tanky Nidalee, has a couple of Doran's blades in there, and going for that kind of setup. So we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, meanwhile down the bottom you can see that Will dominate, sneaking into the bush. Chaucer's actually taken pretty low there, so they're going to leap straight in towards it. Will manage to get Chaucer down. Can they get the second kill on double lift? You can see IEM is tanking up the turret. That will give I Will Dominate plenty of time. Actually got the grab on him, but he will back away from there. And Mundo comes in a little bit too late. And that was a double kill. Nicely done and nicely exercised by Dignitas there. And that was really all started by IEM by just hammering away and creating the kill. Meanwhile, I can see Mundo also being pressured by Big Fat LP. They're having a little bit of a run around the bush there, but I don't think Scar is that worried. He's got that shield built up pretty heavily. And this is really the difference. We can see how much damage they can each do, and I think Scar is losing out in this battle. He's going to get ulted straight away. He's going to be able to back away from this one. I don't think he's going to get away. The exhaust goes down. Can they finish him off? Mundo comes in. Surely going to be the finish of Scar. Will go down, and that was a clean kill. So that was really a case of Scar just testing the waters. How strong am I? Oh, not that strong
enough. That Urgot did a lot of damage there. I think one thing that was pretty major is he underestimated that passive is going to reduce all of Mordekaiser's damage by 15%. Whenever Urgot deals damage with his Q or his basic attack, he's going to have that debuff on them, and Mordekaiser needs to deal damage to build shield, and that ult needs to deal damage to leech some health back, and those are things that he's not going to be able to do with that damage debuff. You combine that with the shield that Urgot can keep placing on with the cooldown reduction and the mana regen from blue buff, and it became really difficult there. So Voyboy still just kind of running back and forth, dealing damage to Hotshot. But this lane is pretty sustaining, actually. You can see 94 minions to 113, so Voyboy is winning in minion kills. And there we go, St. Vicious just kind of camping down by the bottom. I think he should know that Mundo is there. He's got a trap right there if he walks over it. He's going to walk over that trap. And yeah, he's going to be like, okay, never mind.
You're like predicting the future right now at the moment on the stream, but we knew it was coming. Doublelift trying to sneak around the backside on the top there, and again you can see that top lane just continually being pressured. Voyboy is not taking any abuse off Hotshot. I can see the Willie the Ancients has been completed by Scour in the middle as well, so Sorcerer's Blitz, so he's going to be a little bit more sustainable in that middle. You can see Shyvana also getting around. He's got the Oracle on the I Will Dominate as well now, so keep your eye on that one. And the ward placement is very low at the moment, and basically because they both have these oracles and they are just clearing them out every time they get placed down there. Scar backed heavily away from his turret there. I'm just trying to see why. And Big Fat LP is certainly out farming him at the moment in the middle there, which is pretty impressive in itself. 143 to 127 CS. Not a great deal of difference. I'm just keeping my eye on IEM down the bottom here, looking like
147.
Locust is going back, so he's going to be on his own, so we need to keep our eye on this bottom lane. And like you say, 147 to what are we looking at? Is it Alistair's? They're kind of sort of semi-sharing.
He's got about 40. He's about 40 ahead. They've got 109 at the bottom lane versus 150. So 41 minions right now. The difference, and it's been growing over time pretty steadily.
Yeah, pressure on Voyboy there, and that's going to force Voyboy to go back. So Hotshot just popping his ulti off there and doing a chunk of damage. So let's see what Voyboy goes back and buy. I think he will have a... he's tell a lie. He's trolling me and decides to cancel that and think, you know what, I can eat another wave of minions here. I've got plenty of health.
If Hotshot lands W, he'll drop, so he's got to be very careful about this one. And oh, that was a little bit close. We did get out of the way. I think Voyboy... There, it was really close. See, there we go. Voyboy getting out of the way. And actually, Dignitas immediately getting another dragon for themselves. So they had that timed. Yep, there was that 17-minute and change spawn, and they grabbed that with no pressure whatsoever. Now, CLG are winning in kills, but they're down in gold because of these dragons so far. Although CLG might actually, looks like Hotshot's looking pretty happy for this turret. Voyboy did get rooted, but Hotshot can't dive the turret. That's hard not to say. I'm sorry.
You really need to be watching the preview monitor.
All right, so I'm sorry. I'll stop.
Meanwhile, down the bottom now, pushing on towards Doublelift. Doublelift taking down very low. The ulti coming out from Corki there, catching him with a big bomb. And Chauster also taking a bit of damage, and they're going to be forced back. Meanwhile, you can see in the middle, actually, that Mordekaiser is sort of hitting that critical mass, and he's farming up heavily. He's catching very quickly on Urgot there. Urgot trying his best to just sit it out. They have managed to pop the exhaust down. Mundo's going to go in. The ulti switch coming out from Urgot. Will it be enough? St. Vicious hasn't really... Scar hasn't got any shield. He's trying his best to build that shield up with that lifesteal that he's got, and he's exhausted again. A double exhaust will get the kill. Big Fat OP picking it up. Put his ulti down and St. Vicious really wasn't going to be enough, and I think that might be enough to take that turret down. I can see that I Will Dominate desperately coming across. Voyboy picking up the blue buff, and I think that turret is in peril, and I Will Dominate just about coming in time to save it. Meanwhile, down the bottom, they're also pushing again on that turret, and that turret very low down the bottom as well.
Yeah, that Mundo Urgot lane is actually really... Oh, Cutie Pie just got... is almost about to get caught right there, and there comes a lot of the damage output up underneath that turret, and they're going to see if they can help the team enough. He's going to run down. John is going to ult with the turret, going to do enough damage. Chowster will pick up that kill, and finally, there you can see that lane that they were hoping to get earlier from CLG. Finally starting to work there, that Blitz Alistair lane, and oh my gosh, that Corki not in a happy place that entire time. Really got owned pretty hard there. Now the top lane, you can see Hotshot and Voyboy going at it. Voyboy trying to get away, as Needly very low, does flash that never move, and going to run away. The dots will time out just barely. Will make his way out of that battle and survive, but that was really, really close. CLG now up in gold once more. Despite being up 3 kills, that lead is very small, so Dignitas, of course, still very close here, but you're kind of seeing this mid-late game start to work a lot better for CLG.
Yeah, and got that crowd control when he comes into the team fight as well. I Will Dominate coming into a harass Chowster. I think he's coming a little bit too early there, showing his hand far too early. Yeah, he's going to try and put as much damage on Chowster, maybe force him back. So looking like a 4-man push possibly on the tower down the bottom here. You can see that that IEM is coming back, has got that Black Cleaver just about completed. So we have a 4-man Dignitas team down the bottom, but they are going to back away from this one. So I don't think they're going to push him for it. And CLG weren't quite sure. You can see the double lift was just like, well, I'm not really sure. Are we going to be able to get an invader? Are they trying to cover off the blue? No, they've just returned to lane, so trying to confuse them as well as me, frankly. So Shyvana has just gone back. How do you rate these two junglers so far? I mean, they're both very quick farmers. Not really seen too much from the ganks. St. Vicious had the 2 ganks in the middle on Skara. You've had obviously I Will Dominate down the bottom lane as well. Picked up the 2 kills, but overall it's not the crazy gankiness that we tend to see from the junglers.
Well, the teams are playing pretty safely, of course, and you have seen Mundo come in 2 to 3 times successfully against Skara in mid, and of course it's just sometimes very timing relevant. Do you have red buff? Is your exhaust up? Is Big Fat LP's ultimate on? How big is Skara's shield? Sometimes those just aren't available there. Top lane, both champions very good at escaping, but actually here is some pressure at the top. Hotshot taking a lot of pressure. They're going to have to try to flash away. Will do that. The exhaust, of course, is on, but they're still chasing that one down. The Needly Spear does land. They've chased in, and there's the damage. Void picks up the kill. Mundo coming by as well, but looks like they're going to be safe this time. Mundo going to be able to just walk back, take the rest of that farm there, and that's a good little comeback gank there from Dignitas.
Yeah, it was a needed one. Meanwhile, down the bottom, I can see they're also pushing on towards Chowster again, forcing him onto that tower. They're trying their best to blast a little bit of damage down on him with that Black Cleaver. If they can keep picking on it, you can see they're actually working Chowster down, slowly building his hit points down. You can see that Black Cleaver in action. And that heal, of Chowster has actually not really been able to recover much, which is what's been keeping him in it. So you can see he's just burning down that health slowly but surely. He's going to force him back. He's actually dived in, grabbed in there. Will he be able to get straight out of it? Valkyrie's not going to come out. It's not going to give him enough distance. The tower will manage to get the shot off. Monsoon just about saving his bacon once again there. Mordekaiser had came down, but it just wasn't quite in the right timing. But that turret is desperately low, and I think they're just going to lifesteal the way back into that one. Mid turret has gone because Mordekaiser had come down to give a hand there, but I Will Dominate protecting any further push from Big Fat LP. But you can see Big Fat LP really won that middle lane out quite strongly.
Oh, yeah. And now you're seeing that the farm of that Alistair actually starting to pay its dividends. You can see almost a Trinity Force finished on Chowster, so tons of damage, of course, incoming very shortly. This Blitzcrank has got his gold pretends, has his armor boots as well, so he's actually pretty durable here. So I was actually wrong. I was actually predicting that Blitzcrank would get the gold, but no, it's going to be this Alistair instead, and he's going to get pretty scary pretty soon.
Yeah, and he's going to be to churn out that damage. Wow, another BF sword board by IEM there. Trinity Force has been complete by Nidalee. Just spotted it. Needlessly large rod and blasting one for Mordekaiser. So Rabadon's death cap coming out shortly. So Locust protecting that tower. The difference is that bottom tower is definitely going to go down soon. They've had the dragon twice, which is why the gold, despite the fact that it is 5-3 in kills, is fairly even still between these two teams. It's just that there's 2 dragons, which means actually the farming-wise has not gone on too badly for CLG. Obviously, you can see in the middle, 207 to 202, very even now between these two. Urgot had got that big lead, but it's really hard to stop Mordekaiser once he starts getting fed.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, Mord is a very scary guy. It's a very good job by CLG to have controlled that so far. And speaking of the dragon, by the way, from a little bit while ago, it's going to be up very, very soon. You can actually see the teams are going to start to group towards it. Excuse me. And you can see Warmogs has been finished on Urgot, and they are just kind of grouping up towards the middle right now. CLG looks like they're fully ready. Dignitas has to be a little bit afraid because, again, these pulls can happen from Urgot, they can happen from Alistair, they can happen from Blitzcrank, and Dignitas actually looks like they're going to move in towards the Dragon Pit. They are going to actually pull that at the very start, and they're going to move that towards themselves. Now, Mundo from St. Vicious, oh my gosh, Blitzcrank coming down. Will he go for the pull? Yes, lands it onto Mordecai, so he's not going to be in good shape because of that. Let's see, he's going to actually, oh, just looks like he's just going to flash and be safe, but they're going to move back in. There comes the damage output. Once again, this Dragon just in the middle of it all. Urgot spamming out, Dignitas running back and forth. There we go, Dominate, going to jump into the front. He's going to be in the middle of all that. There is all the ultimates. Looks like Mordecai to the first kill onto Swain, and there it is. Yes, now the Urgot running back, Mundo towards the back as well. They're all just running away right now, CLG. Dignitas looks like they're going to pick up another one. Scar with 2 kills in this fight so far, and now they have, looks like what looks like full control over this Dragon, and they're going to pop the shield, and there they go. They're going to take this one over, and wow, that was an incredibly good fight for them. This 0-3 Mordecai here said, well, but I have AP now, so I think we're going to be okay. And Hotshot did not like how that fight went for him.
No, he went down very, very quickly. And we were talking about who they were going to target. And, well, Hotshot just got popped in seconds. His ulti wasn't really able to pull him off. Obviously, wasn't in amongst the minions, so he was only trying to feed off the thing. In fact, I'm not even sure he had time to pop that ulti off. So the mid towers was taking a big chunk of damage. Bottom turret has gone down. You can see Nidalee clearing out that huge wave up top. Skara being very aggressive and maybe get caught out here. Chowster's going to catch his position out. Will get the pulverize. Tries to headbutt him back towards it. Has got Urgot coming in. Can Urgot manage to get in and lock on time? He will get the lock on. And a slow from St. Vicious. Well, this could turn very well in their favor. Skara's trying to walk away from this one. Not too sure the lifesteal is going to be enough. He will go down, but Voivoy picked up a kill, sneaking round that backside, popping down Alistair. So not without any repercussions. 6-6 all square, gold advantage obviously going to Dignitas. They have picked up those multiple kills in the last sort of fight, and 3 dragons ahead. Towers wise though, you got to give it to CLG, 2-1 up.
Yep, they're doing a good job of pushing overall, and you can see that their late game is starting to scale pretty interestingly. There's a lot of different targets to look out for. Big Fat LP is going to get scarier and scarier. He's already finished his Warmogs, had that before the Dragon fight. You, of course, saw he did not die last time. He's just getting beefier and scarier. He's probably going to get Atmos for the next item there, and he's going to be just so incredibly hard to kill, and yet dealing tons and tons of damage. You got the Trinity Force finished already on this Nidalee, and she's getting scarier as well. You're going to see how she's going to scale off throughout this game. This Mordekaiser finally has his death cap, and that's going to be all kinds of scary as well. He's got 330 ability power, and of course doing percentage health damage means that the 2 Warmogs builds here, both the Dr. Mundo and the Urgot, are not going to really like that. But you've got this Swain, who is the one not stupidly tanky guy in this team, and he's started to build a lot of magic resist. He's got 78 right now, and he's got that Rod of Age. He's got 2 Doran's Rings. He's got some good health, some good MR. He's going to keep building that up, and it's kind of going to be up to Hotshot to survive. He's the only one who can actually get bursted right now by Dignitas.
Absolutely. So you can see that Mundo has actually just built up a Runion's Omen as well, which catching a glimpse of the top there. Look at this, the damage of Voivoy's managed to put out to Hotshot. They're not worried at all about that ulti anymore. So Voivoy definitely got the handling of Hotshot, so he's got to be careful. And you can see he's just plowing through those minions now. So top tower is going to be a little bit of pressure. You can see that Mundo is getting into position, just catching a glimpse of Blitzcrank. See where he's going there. Apologies for using the scroll. It's a little bit tricky on the mouse at the moment. So you can see that pretty much all the lanes continue to be pushed, and Voivoy doing his best to continue putting pressure on this top lane. They want to take out those 3 turrets, force them to start using more wards, and the ward placement at the moment hasn't been amazing. I'm trying to think of who actually died, whether we saw any oracles go down in that. I think Mundo went down, didn't he?
Mundo and Shyvana both had 0 deaths, and looks like actually some pressure coming on now. Doublelift gonna get the pull on a Scar, but Scar says, okay, we'll fight, I'm okay with this, and actually does okay with that. Of course, has that spell vamp, so his health will be coming back up soon. You can see CLG trying to defend this turret. Dignitas might not want to go for this. Oh no, Shyvana going in up in the front, and yes, gets pulled in by Blitzcrank, has to ult out and will survive, but the turret will go down, and here comes the rest of this fight. Fight's going on everywhere. Jana looks like she's going to jump in there and get a lot of pressure going on, and there we go, the ult comes off, the team trying to keep alive, but Hotshot chasing down into that one, and they're going to pick up the kill onto I Will Dominate. Dignitas still trying to run away. Now Corki not in a great place, and yes, another kill picked up there. Hotshot now picking up 2, and this kind of seems to be the story where the mage dies and picks up 2 kills, and then for CLG, the mage dies, picks up 2 kills, and that's what happens when you don't have your 5th member in a team fight. Voivoy's still waiting up there, and CLG are going to want this one.
Yeah, they're going to want it. Voivoy's going to spot it though, and so he's going to realise it is happening, and he's trying to get that spear on towards Doublelift. Doublelift already very low. Have they got enough to force them to peel away from the Baron? I'm not sure whether they will. Mordekaiser's definitely going to try and throw himself in there. Grab on Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser pulled straight in, but that's actually gone badly wrong in CLG's favor. They're still tanking down the Baron while they're getting eaten up alive by Skara going around there. Skara will surely get away. No, I'm not too sure whether Alistair's going to be able to catch up on him and do enough damage. He turns around, tries to use the lifesteal on Jouster. Very nicely played there. Skara using that Will of the Ancients brilliantly. Voibo will just about go down to Big Fat LP. Big Fat LP will back away from this one. Of course, we've got the ghost form of Double Lift in there, and Hotshot GG's going to get caught out. Skara continued to troll away and eat as much lifesteal as he can. He's got Mundo coming up behind him. Will finally get their kill, and what a crazy exchange. I will dominate back in there. Locust just needs to back away from that one. Many members of CLG very low on health, but they will back away from it just about in time. 10-8, and the gold still very even. 29 minutes into this one, just a 3k difference, and very close.
And that was a 3v5, like, gutsy, let's stop Baron, and that's actually really fortunate for a couple of reasons. So one is CLG doesn't have a full dedicated range DPS, right? You look at the Urgot build, and of course he's got some attack damage, but he's itemized, what, like 0 attack speed. He's getting his Atmas now. It's 30 minutes into the game, and he's got 200 AD and no real other complementary stats. You compare that to what I'm a Cutie Pie has, and he's got Black Cleaver, he's got another BF sword there, he's got, you know, multiple hundreds of attack damage, you know, bonus attack speed, etc. And he's a scarier guy than Urgot is. CLG's whole thing is like just to bruise through a fight and to fight a long-term battle, and that's not a bad lineup by any means. You see them winning in kills. This long-term fight goal is fine for them. But the problem is you've got a lot of crazy bursts out of kind of nowhere with basically Needly and Corky and there's Mordecai that kind of show up in the front load onto someone really hard, and it's a little bit scary.
And Skara nearly completing the Zhonya's Hourglass as well. Are they oblivious to the fact that CLG just sneaking in? They could come up and around them. Whether they're thinking of Baron, the Clairvoyance hasn't got down. Surely going to grab a grab. No, they don't. The ulti coming out, and then Locust having to use the ulti to blast them away. Will it the Monsoon be enough? You can see that Big Fat LP was completely targeted in there. Chouster going down as well. This is going very well for Dignitas. They're going to pile on towards St. Vicious. St. Vicious having to use his ulti to blast away with Mundo, and that will surely mean that there's going to be a Baron attempt from Dignitas. There's no way they're going to give up on this one. I'm not too sure really whether St. Vicious can blast his way back in there and try and get the steal on it. It's entirely possible. Of course, he got Double Lift, could always manage to throw a random grab out. Actually, Hotshot GG's been caught out though, and will get taken down. Army Cutie Pie taken very low. May well get taken down by the ulti from Blitzcrank. Not quite enough, and lifesteal is his way through that. Nearly heal as well. I think just topped him off in amongst there. And wow, St. Vicious now all on his own. Zephyr goes down on him. They're going to get the exhaust down. They're peeled off. They picked up the Baron, and that will be an ace. Eventually coming out from Dignitas, 13-10, 48k to 41k. That was the team fight Dignitas were looking for.
Wow, and they do not have the ability to deal with Mordekaiser. Now, I don't know if the Mord pick was a counter because they knew what strategy was coming up, but you see that, you know, they're getting these like giant pulls, right? They got that pull on Janna, and like Janna of all champions would be the one to instantly die in that kind of situation. And no matter who they pull, that champion doesn't get dropped. They don't have like a Veigar or, you know, I'm trying to think of like heavily bursty champions like Graves or Sivir, or even a support like Tarek. I mean, think of like Blitzcrank and Alistair can burst pretty well themselves, but they don't have like a guy who could just like throw out a crap ton of damage all at once. You kind of feel like Needly would have almost been a better choice there with the takedown Trinity Force proc or just even a giant javelin or something, but they don't have the ability to pull a guy and then make that one actually drop. And you've seen this now 2-3 times in these fights. Before was when Dignitas went and stopped Baron, and now it was the one where they got the amazing Urgot swap. You know, they're getting a guy into the team, and then that guy is not dying. And you know, otherwise, they're actually just firing back, and Dignitas are doing a good job at those fights. And we just went from a 2-kill disadvantage to a 3-kill advantage plus Baron for Dignitas. And, I mean, they're playing phenomenally.
Yeah, the big problem was they obviously pulled Janna in, Monsooned them all away, and meanwhile, Urgot had already done his switch, was just like, oh, I'm 4v1
I'm alone now.
Yeah, what the hell? Completely got obliterated. So he was out of that fight from the very beginning. So Dignitas now all baroned up, pushed all the lanes, and I expect to see them piling straight up mid. So you can see the 5-man team gathering. Chouster needs to get himself back, which is exactly what he's doing. And they are ready and waiting for this one. I'm not too sure how much pushing power they're going to feel, though. I mean, it's a dangerous team to still push on the tower. I mean, it's all very well just winning out that team fight. They will go straight in there, and you can see the Howling Gale goes wishing across, and they're just trying to buy time for Army Cutie Pie to hammer away on that tower, and some might even say chipping away. But I still don't feel that they're that confident to actually really push them on a tower fight yet.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary. CLG has a really good turret camping team. Every one of them has some kind of long-range skill shot poke, except for Alistair. And he at least has a heal to keep them alive. And so you can see they AoE down these minions. Urgot spams Qs and autos. And, if they ever get too close, you've got the swap or the Blitzcrank pull into a turret. And unlike last time where, Urgot swapped and they got caught out, at least this time the swap puts him into a turret, which is, something that you won't blow away with the John ult and will do very significant damage here. So you got to figure CLG likes this position, but they don't like that they're losing, but they have a really good chance here in these fights to sort of make this go in their favor.
Yeah, so 568 ability power currently on Scar. He's completed that Zhonya's Hourglass, so he's kind of putting himself up the front saying, you know what, grab me, here they go. They've dived in there. I will dominate going straight across. And wow, the damage going straight across. CLG completely getting destroyed on the tower. I wasn't sure quite how much damage they had, but they have it in abundance, and they completely obliterated CLG away from that turret. I think Big Fat LP actually went for his ulti, got switched away, and suddenly was actually out the fight, the back end of it. The tower goes down very quickly, and Dignitas may well be able to push through and finish this one off in a plum. And what an amazing turnaround from Dignitas. They weren't quite sure about the start lineups, but they have just looked phenomenal. And the last two team fights is really turned in their favor.
Yep, absolutely. They've not been able to burn down the Dignitas lineup. They're actually tankier than you would give them credit for. Skara, despite building more or less full glass, has like a Zhonya's, gets his shield up, and he's just not been really dropped down. I mean, Chaos are trying to defend this turret now, looking to run away. The turrets are about to fall, though, and now onto the Nexus, and looks like Dignitas going to take the very first game of the day, 1-0 in the group over Counter Logic Gaming, and they're going to be happy with how this is going for them so far.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a first game of the day.
Absolutely, absolutely glorious game by them. Excellent play.
So around about a 40-minute game, I think, in total. But wow, just a very happy Dignitas team. They said they were going to bring something special to this one. Was that it? Did we see it there? Did we see something crazy from CLG? It was definitely a different strategy, definitely a different meta, but was it enough? And, it hasn't worked in the first game. Do they stick to it? Do they switch back? Do they go back to the normal? Have they been practicing this strat for ages? Are they so confident in it and they're going to feel a big confidence draining them? You can see it's going to be a lot of discussions going on. So, I mean, it's just the first game of the day in what will be a big group stage.
They've got a chance, and there's a couple of really fun things going on in this group. We're going to, of course, solve the entire Group A today. We've got, I think we've got 7 or 8 matches scheduled throughout the day. So this was game 1 of like 7 or so. So you've got another 7 times as much action coming at you in the day. So don't go anywhere, of course. But you've got a really scary group here, and again, only 3 teams of 6 are going to make it out of the group. We've seen CLG and Dignitas so far. We've got Against All Authority and Fnatic. These teams are so very land proven and such incredibly good teams. But you've also got 2 almost sub teams, alternate. Actually, I guess Authority is one of them. You've got Alternate and I'm missing Millennium, right?
Millennium,
yeah. Millennium are coming in here. So Millennium, we've not seen them in a while. They were not at Kiev. Against All Authority, we did see at Kiev. We also saw them at the Season 1 Championship last year, who were the 2nd place team there. And you've got a lot of cool things going on here because only 3 go out, and you've got 4 like heavily favorite teams that are very hyped up. CLG and Dignitas that we saw, and again, Against All Authority and Fnatic, who were the number 1 and 2 teams last year at the League of Legends Season 1 Championship. You've got a tournament here with the same prize pool, $100,000. These teams are going to go back at it, and one of those 4, at the very least, are going to go home. And you've also got Alternate and Millennium, who are kind of just going to try to prove themselves, where they've not had this same level of hype to them. But as we saw at IEM Kiev, Moscow 5, they did have hype, but they had no proof, and they came through and just crushed everyone.
Yeah.
And they've got that same chance here with Alternate and with Millennium. There's just a crazy amount of stories that can happen here today, and any of the teams can make it. Even going 0-1, you've still got a lot of chances. CLG is certainly not out of the group. Dignitas certainly has a chance to fail out, so they've got to still keep the matches going.
Yeah, and let's talk about the confidence level that's going to give them. They've just beaten their big North American rival in their group already. These guys were tipped. Obviously, CLG, renowned as such a great team.
Oh, yeah.
And they've just beaten them in the very first game of the day. That's just going to lift them so much already.
Yeah.
And looking obviously that who else they're going to be really challenging against All Authority, Fnatic, definitely.
Yeah.
Alternate, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not convinced by their online form lately, but who knows? It is a simple 1 match, and Dignitas will not be used to playing their style, maybe. So maybe something will catch them out. But CLG are now going to have to look a little bit inwards and say, right, was that just a strategy that didn't quite work out? Because we said at the start that bottom lane didn't quite work out for them. They wanted to get a grabber earlier, get a kill earlier, maybe get the ball rolling a little bit, and they didn't quite have the creep score, etc. And Army Q2 just obviously fed off that. And like you mentioned, they couldn't deal with Mordekaiser towards the end of the game. So maybe it was something that I don't know what was in there, but it's going to be a tough one to call, and it is just the first game of the day, so I believe we're going to be switching over to an interview. Daniel Zenon Klein will have grabbed someone, and it looked like Chowster. I think I saw him pulling out.
I guess we're on. I'm very sorry. Yes, I have Chauster and Skara with me here right now. So that was a very interesting game there. Let's just start off with you, Chauster. I'll just have to ask the question. Is that a comp that the entire team came up with, or is that something Double Lift convinced you to run?
That's something our whole team came up with, and we practiced it a lot, but that game, Dignitas just played really well, and it didn't work out for us.
So just as a follow-up, all they had to do was play carefully in bot lane, basically, right?
They played well, but also like we made a lot of mistakes. I mean, I feel like if we didn't make the few mistakes that we had made, the game would have been completely different. But you know, like that's how games are won, by teams making mistakes.
That happens. So, Skara, just tell me what went through your head during the early phases of this game. Every other minute there was a giant muscular man throwing cleavers in your face in your lane, and it didn't go so well. What was going through your head?
In the pick phase, we realized mid lane was going to be in trouble. Like, I saw double exhaust and I saw Urgot, and I was like, I'm so screwed. Like, I knew Stain would run around mid a lot and just get free kills on me. I think except for one kill, they used 2 exhausts on me, literally in a row, and I was just like, this is so hard to deal with. The way we countered that was that Dominic actually gave me every raid camp after like the second one. I was able to keep my farm up, but I knew if we could just push the team fights, we'd be able to contest, and they gave us a lot of early dragons, so we had a lot of global gold, and I think that's just why we won. We just team fought really well, even after I was really far behind.
So let's talk about team fights then. Just a second ago, I heard you two talking about this. I guess the lineup, the idea behind the lineup from CLG was just be super beefy and just sustain through a team fight and just wear them down while they had all that burst. And one of those team fights, Hotshot just got switched off at Dragon. What happened there, and exactly how did you guys think you should adjust your strategy going forward?
I think that was just like mistakes like that happen once in a while. You go in and you forget that they can actually 100 to 0 you. I mean, I guess it's a mistake that can happen, and yeah, I mean, more practice, definitely. I feel like a lot of times during team fights, everyone's trying to do the same thing. They're not supposed to. Like, people are sometimes supposed to focus other targets, and people are getting too caught up doing things they're not supposed to do. And just, those things add up, especially in team fights.
All right, so you just fought against a team that's probably, I mean, no offense to Curse, but next to you, probably the strongest team from North America in this tournament. Curse obviously not here with Pobelter, and I guess they have some other problems, but we'll talk about that in their group tomorrow. So you just kind of convincingly beat CLG there, at least in the later stage group team fights that looked really, really strong. Now you're going to go up against a lot of European teams. Some of them you may not be so familiar with. How does that affect your pick and ban strategy and your overall approach to games coming up for the rest of the group?
I'm hoping we'll do pretty well. Usually in playing games like this, you have to have momentum. And since we just beat CLG, which is considered a pretty strong front runner, like, I still think they'll make it out of group stage pretty convincingly. We have a lot of momentum going into these next couple games. I'm hoping we can just hold the momentum and keep our play very high. And we should be able to do well against these European teams.
Well, I think we're going to find out very, very soon. Thanks, guys, for the interview. I wish you best of luck in the rest of the group stage. Everything's open still, of course. This is a 6-team group stage. We are going to go to ads in just a moment, and we'll be back right after that, so don't go anywhere. We're going to watch Alternate versus Against All Authority, two pretty strong European teams that myself and Riven are going to cast, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.